My name's Martin McCormick. I'm a conservation officer for the RSPB in Northern Ireland. We're down in this farm today, and behind me you can see a winter feed crop for wild birds, which was sown as part of the environmental farming scheme. So a winter feed crop for wild birds, it is a spring sown crop mixture which is sown in April or May, and then it's left completely unharvested right through the winter months, providing seed for a number of seed-eating farmland birds. Birds, they use up so much energy just trying to stay warm during the winter months, during those really cold and wet weather spells. And if they don't have enough food in order to actually replenish that energy, then they're simply going to perish. And that's why creating those alternative seed-rich habitats is very important for their survival and recovery as a species. Unfortunately, winter food sources for wild birds have decreased as a result of some of our changes to farming practices over the years. So in Northern Ireland, we used to have a lot more mixed and arable farming, which meant there would have been a lot more weedy stubble fields and spilt grain scattered across the countryside, but there's much less of that now, which means that there's much less food available. And furthermore, actually within modern crop rotations, where fields would be cultivated immediately after harvest in order to put in your winter crops like a winter wheat or oilseed rape, means that opportunities for seed-eating birds have been further depleted. And that's why creating these alternative seed sources like the winter feed crop for wild birds is really important for the survival of these iconic farmland birds. If you have an area that's dominated by, say, like pastoral and grassland farming systems, the seed sources are going to be quite limited come the winter months. So you might think of winter feed crop for wild birds, you might think of that as like an arable option, but actually it can be really, really useful and beneficial in a pastoral farm as well. So on grassland farms, you could actually be creating a really good seed-rich habitat. You'd be creating that giant bird table, those stepping stones on the landscape to help create corridors and links between different landscapes. So don't just think of this as an arable option, it could actually work really well on a grassland farm as well. So what actually goes into your winter feed crop mixture? Well, EFS specification states you have to have one cereal from either wheat, barley, oats or triticale, and then you have to have one seed-bearing crop of either linseed, mustard, oilseed rape or quinoa. You can put in small amounts of other things like gold of pleasure or sunflower, but you have to make sure that the majority of the mix is made up from those recommended species as set out by DAERA. And it's good to have that variety of species in your mixture. There's various reasons for that, but one would be is that different crops tend to turn to seed at different parts of the winter seasons. And as well, different birds have different seed preferences. So you have birds like the yellowhammer. They really like cereal. You have birds like the linnet, as the name suggests, really likes linseed. So having that variety of plant species is good to increase the length and time that the cover is available for the birds. And then as well, you're creating that variety of food for the different variety of birds. The primary purpose of the winter feed crop is providing that seed source for birds come the winter, but actually there's lots of other benefits for wildlife as well. So a lot of the crops and plants involved in the wild bird cover mixture are actually flowering plants. So come the spring and summer, they're going to be in bloom, and they're providing really good pollen and nectar sources for butterflies, for bees, all sorts of insects. And then as well, that increasing the amount of insects is in turn creating food for birds in the spring and summer, the insects they need to feed their chicks in the nest. So you're not just providing food for birds in the winter, you're actually providing food for birds in the summer as well. And also then small mammals, you've got like field mice, you've got shrews, they're also going to be looking for the seed. They in turn are then creating food for barn owl and for kestrel. And for birds like the barn owl, very endangered, less than 30 pair left in Northern Ireland. So this wild bird cover, the winter feed crop, is really good hunting territory for them as well, and you can really help bring about the recovery of that species also. Really, really important habitat. You're creating that winter food source for wild birds, that seed source, habitat for more insects. Those insects in turn are providing chick food for birds in the spring and summer during the breeding season. You're going to have more small mammals. Those in turn are providing food for the barn owl, really good hunting territory for those birds of prey. And then as well, really good for pollinators, really good for bees and butterflies. So it's just one of those habitats that is just really beneficial for nature. It just gives and gives, and it's definitely something that can contribute greatly to wildlife on your farm. RSPB in Northern Ireland, we can help provide that advice and support regarding the environmental farming scheme. So if you think something like the winter feed crop for wild birds is something that could work on your farm, please do get in touch. We can offer that advice and support about where to put the wild bird cover, the sort of seed mixture that might work well. So please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you and give you our help and support.